Microsoft Digital Workplace, your complete solution suite for remote working. Thumbs up.
Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really big question for pretty much any modern IT team: Azure Virtual Desktop or Windows 365. It can be confusing, so let's break down which one of these powerful cloud desktop solutions is the right fit for you.
Okay, let's just jump right in. Does this question hit a little too close to home? For so many of us, traditional virtual desktop infrastructure, or VDI, has been a total workhorse for years. But as the demand for more flexibility, better security, and instant scalability just keeps growing, those legacy systems are really starting to show their age.
And this slide just perfectly captures that vicious cycle of legacy VDI, doesn't it? These pain points, they all feed into each other. You're spending more and more on licenses, your team is completely bogged down managing hardware and doing those weekend patching marathons, and trying to scale up for new users becomes this huge, expensive headache. This is exactly the friction that's pushing so many companies toward the cloud. So, to help you navigate all this, we've laid out a really clear roadmap. We're going to start with the core dilemma, help you figure out which path to take, and then walk through all the essentials: building, migrating, and optimizing your brand new cloud workspace.
The first thing to get your head around is that this isn't just about lifting and shifting your desktops from your data center to someone else's. It's really about a fundamental shift in how you deliver and secure your digital workspace. It's all about becoming more agile, more resilient.
So, how do you pick the right model for what you need? We can actually think about this choice with a pretty simple analogy. Are you looking for a ready-to-move-in rental apartment, or do you want to custom build your own house from the ground up? This right here really brings that analogy to life. Windows 365 is that turnkey rental. It's a simple, predictable cloud PC for each user with a fixed monthly price, and it's almost entirely managed by Microsoft. Then you have Azure Virtual Desktop, or AVD, that's your custom-built home. It gives you total control, amazing flexibility, and some really cool cost-saving features like putting multiple users on a single virtual machine. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. This table breaks down the key differences, and the pricing model is a huge one. With Windows 365, you get predictability, that fixed monthly price. AVD, on the other hand, is pay-as-you-go, which can be a lot cheaper, but you've got to monitor it carefully. And then there's user sessions. It's one user per PC with Windows 365 versus many users on one machine with AVD. That one feature makes AVD incredibly efficient for shared work environments.
So where does each one really shine? This chart maps it out pretty clearly. Windows 365 is just perfect for those predictable roles, your everyday knowledge workers, or for temporary staff, like seasonal hires and contractors, where you just need to spin up a secure desktop fast. AVD is the real powerhouse. Think large-scale deployments with thousands of users, or specialized workloads like design and engineering that need custom-built, high-performance machines. All right, so once you've made your choice, it is time to build. And listen, before you migrate a single user, you have got to build a secure foundation. In the cloud, security isn't some extra thing you bolt on at the end. It has to be baked in from the absolute beginning.
The guiding principle for all of this is zero trust. Now, this is a fundamental shift. It flips that old trust but verify model completely on its head. The new motto is never trust, always verify. So instead of trusting devices just because they're inside the corporate network, Zero Trust assumes every single connection could be a threat. It's constantly verifying identity and device health before granting any access, which is absolutely essential when your perimeter is no longer the office walls, it's the entire internet.
So how do you actually do this? Well, Microsoft's best practices give us 4 key pillars. First, you segment your networks. This helps control the blast radius if a breach ever happens. Second, use a tool like Azure Firewall to inspect all your traffic. Third, and this one is a biggie, you never ever expose your virtual machines directly to the internet through RDP or SSH. And fourth, you use a service like Azure Bastion. It basically acts as a secure managed jump box so your admins can get access without that risky public exposure. This right here shows you the real business impact of going cloud native. I mean, deploying a firewall across multiple availability zones might sound super technical, but what it really means is that if an entire Azure data center has an issue, your firewall just automatically fails over. Your users stay connected, and your business keeps on running. That's the power of this kind of architecture.
Okay, with our secure foundation in place, now we can tackle the big moves, migrating your users and their data.
The goal here is a super smooth, disruption-free transition that really feels like an upgrade, not a massive headache. A successful migration follows a pretty clear path. First, you create a golden image. It's like a perfect template of your operating system and all your apps. From that, you deploy your session hosts. Then comes the real magic, migrating user profiles. A tool like FS Logix packages up a user's entire profile into a container, so it can just attach to any virtual machine they log into. It's seamless. And finally, of course, you test with a pilot group before moving everyone over in planned phases.
And this is where these modern tools just completely shine. I love this quote from an infrastructure architect because it highlights the massive efficiency gains. Creating and updating these golden images used to be such a painful manual process. Now, with tools like Azure VM Image Builder, you can automate the whole thing, slashing the time from hours down to just minutes. It's incredible.
But be careful, right? There are some common pitfalls here. Don't assume your users will just get it. They need training. All this cloud activity is going to hit your network, so make sure you have the capacity. And yes, believe it or not, even now you need a solid plan for printing. If you ignore these, your smooth migration can turn into a support nightmare really fast.
So your users are migrated, everything's live. Awesome. But the job isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. Day 2 is all about continuous optimization, making sure you're delivering an amazing experience without breaking the bank.
You know, optimization is this constant balancing act between cost and performance. On the cost side, automation is absolutely key. You can use auto-scaling to power on virtual machines when demand is high and then shut them down when it's low, so you literally only pay for what you use. And on the performance side, it's all about making the user experience feel instant and responsive, using technologies that create the most direct, efficient connection possible.
The value of this automation, it goes way beyond just cost savings. As this IT admin points out, it saves his team a huge amount of time. Instead of them manually managing capacity, they can just set the policies and let the platform handle the rest. That frees them up to focus on more strategic work.
This slide shows you exactly what that automation looks like in practice. These tools can automatically power down your entire environment over the weekend, saving you 2 full days of compute costs. They stop you from paying for idle machines, and they can instantly scale up to handle a sudden surge in users. This kind of dynamic management is something you just can't do with on-prem hardware.
Now on the performance side, one of the key technologies is something called RDP short path. So what it does is it creates a more direct network path between the user's device and their cloud desktop. By bypassing all the intermediary gateways, it cuts down latency and makes the connection way more reliable. For the user, this just means a snappier, more responsive experience.
And why does that latency matter so much? Well, because perception is everything. Studies have shown that once the delay between a user's input, like a mouse click, and the screen's response goes over half a second, the whole experience just starts to feel sluggish. Productivity drops, and frustration goes way up. Proactive monitoring helps you spot these issues before your users even have a chance to complain.
So, let's just quickly recap our journey here. The right choice, Windows 365 or AVD, it all comes down to your need for simplicity versus flexibility. But no matter which one you choose, build it on that solid foundation of zero trust security. Plan your migration methodically, and please remember that optimization isn't a one-time task, it's an ongoing process.
And that brings us to our final thought. You see, moving to a cloud desktop isn't the end of your transformation journey. It's really just the beginning. It creates a brand new platform for innovation. So with a secure, scalable, and flexible workspace finally in place, the real question becomes, what are you going to build on top of it?